آه، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. آه, Greeting to everybody. Today we continue to give our lectures as a new Islamic perspective on the divine principle based on our book United Visions under the slogan of one God, one Allah, and one truth, and one human family. Today we are going to talk about the last chapter of the last part of the process of creation. This is the 3rd of Ramadan, 1445, which is 14th of March, 2024. This third part of the chapter 1 is about the spirit world. The spirit world. Let us talk about the spirit world and the physical world. Human being is a dual being. Man is composed of spirit body and spirit self, a physical body and a physical self, spirit mind and a physical mind. The physical body is external. We can see it, we can observe it and feel it. The spirit self is invisible. Usually, we don't feel it, and some people, they don't realize its existence, but it is there. Therefore, man is a microcosm, man is the ruler, man is a medium of harmony in the universe. There is a corporeal spiritual world and a corporeal physical, as there is a corporeal physical world. A man is really created to rule over this universe. Man is the Khalifa, and he inherited from God this position. And man is a mediator. He is the mediator created by God to rule over the universe. And because man, he contains all the elements of the universe, internally and externally, visible and invisible. This is the right position of the original man. This is the position of Adam and Eve from the beginning. God created man body from the elements of the natural world. This is our physical body, from the minerals, and actually it contains the mineral world, the plant world, and the animal world. This is all are presented in our physical body. They are there in our physical body. And for that reason, we can dominate the physical world because we have all the elements of the physical world. Therefore, we have the ability to communicate and to dominate the physical world and to use the physical world. In the same way, God created our spirits from the elements of the spirit world. So there is a kind of elements of spiritual elements from the spirit world. So from all those spiritual elements in the spirit world, God created our spiritual bodies. For that reason, we can live in that spirit world and we can dominate it the same way. We can dominate the physical world and the spirit world. This is our original position, our original state of existence. And actually, the invisible world, is really substantial. It is incorporeal, but it is substantial. Even though we cannot sometimes realize it, but it is there. Those who have spiritual senses, they can feel it. And why? Because the whole universe was created according to the human being. This whole universe is created in the pattern of the human being. And since we are created with spirit body and physical body, therefore we can say that there is a spirit world. So as our being, our existence in a dual situation, so the whole universe is existing in a dual situation: spirit dimension, invisible dimension, and physical visible dimension. And the universe was created in the image of man, and man was created in the image of God. We manifest God names and attributes, which is very important. This is mentioned in the Torah, in the Bible, and it is mentioned in the Prophet Hadith. Though some people they don't accept it, but it was well established in Muslim Hadith that God created man in his own image. In the Torah said like this: God created man in his own image. In his own image, he created them. Male and female, he created them. It's very clear. Uh, Man has a special position in this universe. We are in the center of the universe. And for that reason, we can say that we are created to rule over the whole universe. This is the meaning of Khalifa. إذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة. This Khalifa, like a son. And God is more than our father. Our mother and our father, they love us so much. But actually, God's love and God's care for us is more deep and more high and more wide than our father and mother, our physical father and physical mothers. So God is more than that. He's more than a parent, than our physical parents, because He loves us more than our mother, more than our fathers. And man, we live in both worlds simultaneously, in the same time. Now, we are living in this physical world. Actually, we are also living in the spirit world, but we don't realize our spiritual dimension because our spiritual senses were crippled, they were paralyzed, almost dead. And we can say that mankind today is spiritually like a dead man. Though physically we are living, but actually spiritually we are paralyzed. Our physical senses were paralyzed. Our spiritual senses were paralyzed. We don't feel, we don't see, we don't listen spiritually. Because our spirit body was dominated by our physical body. This is the core problem and the fall of man. This is the loss of man, which is called in the Bible as the original sin. So this original sin is original problem, actually, is original problem, original sickness, original defect. You can put it like that. Therefore, with our bodies, we live in the physical world. With our spirit, we live in the spirit world. So Allah created us as mediators. We are the mediators. And we are the center of harmony of the universe. Because all the physical world, including minerals, plants, and animals, they don't have spirit. So they cannot communicate with the spirit world directly. And all the spiritual beings, like angels and archangels, and maybe there's some kind of other beings, we don't know. All of them, they cannot communicate with the physical world directly. But man can do. Man can do it. He can communicate with the spirit world, with his spirit self, and with the physical world, with his physical self, because man, he has a physical body and spiritual body, and therefore man became like a mediator and like a center of harmony. This is the position of Khalifa of Allah. Because why? Because God, He breathes His spirit in man. The spirit in ourselves, this spirit is coming from God. This is why it is well established in the Christian world that we are children of God. They want to say that we came, this means, it doesn't mean that God gave behaves physically as some people might think, but that means we originated from God. We came from God, same like children came from their parents. So through creation, we came from God. This is our original source, our original origin. We came from there. So we belong to God. Originally, all of us, spiritually and physically, we belong to God. Though the situation today is somehow different. We are going to discuss this later. So man's position in the universe was like that. He is the center of harmony, center of coordinator. He is the ruler. He is the mediator. But unfortunately, we have lost that position. Why? Because of the fall of man. Because of the fall of man. Because of the mistake made by Adam and Eve, we lost all those abilities and those mechanisms. We lost them. And we lost our position as a center of the cosmos, as a mediator in the creation, as even as rulers. Now we are ruling this universe without authority. Now we are not authorized, but we are using it like thieves because we are not qualified and we are not authorized because we lost our position due to the fall of man. And therefore the universe lost its master. The universe lost its master. As the Quran said, we have indeed created man in the best of molds. Then do we abase him to be the lowest of the low? لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين. We are created in the best, highest level. This is our original status. But due to the fall, we lost this status and we came to the down to the low of the lowest. We go down lower than animals, lower than plants, and lower than minerals. Stones are better than us. Plants are better than us. Animals are better than us. After we fell, but gradually, anyhow, through a long time, we are gradually recreated and elevated from that position, from the low, and now we are somehow becoming somehow a middle, a better position, but not really in the proper position or the best position. Not yet. We are still going to gain our original position. As I have mentioned, the universe also composed of two worlds. There is the invisible world and the visible world. Actually, to believe in the invisible world, this is the number one pillar of Islam in the Quran. The number one pillar in the Quran. Alif Lam Mim ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. This book is a guidance for those who believe in the invisible world. This is number one condition of Muslim in the Quran, to believe in the invisible world. It's very important because when we believe in the invisible world, then we can live in the invisible world. Because through faith we can build channels of communication between the physical world and the invisible world. And generally today, because we are in a fallen state, we cannot really sense the invisible world. But actually, when we close our eyes, when we entertain with our consciousness, our reason and thinking, our emotions and feelings, we can understand there is another dimension other than the physical world. Because this consciousness and ideas and thinking and emotions and feelings and kind of love and passion, they are not physical actually. You can understand that. They have no shape. You cannot really sense them with your physical senses, but they are there. We have love. We have consciousness. We have reason. We have emotion. We have our own feeling. And these elements, like invisible elements, like a kind of spiritual elements, if it is possible to say. So we conceive our physical existence through our physical senses, but we conceive our spiritual existence through our spiritual senses. But unfortunately, we have lost our spiritual senses. We cannot feel them. We cannot see. We cannot hear. We cannot listen. But anyhow, some people who were for some reason or others, they regain their spiritual power. And such kind of people, they can really communicate and they can really feel and they can sense the spirit really. And of course, many people know this, especially in Africa. This is very common, very common. And actually now it is developing throughout the world. We are going to talk about this later in another chapters, inshallah. So it is true the universe consists of two worlds, spirit world and physical world. And actually the spirit world is identical to our physical world. The spirit world is not a store. Some people they think that when we die, we go to a kind of a big storeroom, and then our spirit will be stored there, waiting for the last days and the judgment day. Then the spirit will come out and be resurrected. But actually, this concept is not true. It's not exactly like that. The spirit world is like our physical world. When we die, we go and live there. People there are living, they have their own life. We don't know exactly the details, but people are living there. So we move from this physical life to the spirit life there in the spiritual world. Our physical world, of course, is a world of time and space, but in the spirit world, there is no time and there is no space. Or maybe there is a different kind of time and a different kind of space. Researches should be done and studies should be made to find out the spirit reality, the reality of the spirit reality. Anyhow, when we die and our physical bodies will go down to the earth, our spirit go and live in the spirit reality for eternity. We live in the spirit reality for eternity. Let us talk about the functions and structures of our physical self, and of course, our spiritual self. Our physical self, as everybody knows, as you know, our physical self has a dual characteristics, of course, and it's composed of our physical mind and our physical body. We have a physical mind. The physical mind is the center of our physical body, and we have a physical body, and there is or should be, and usually there is a relation between give and take between our physical mind and physical bodies. This is the situation of our external existence, and this spiritual self, this physical self, is very important for our spiritual self because our spiritual self is living in our physical self, and our behavior, our physical body behavior affect seriously our spirit self. What we think, what we feel physically, what we think, and what we do, what we behave can seriously affect our spiritual selves. generally, anyhow, physical self, they provide our spirit with vitality elements. Later we can discuss this in more details. So it's like this. We have a physical mind and physical body. And for life to continue physically, there should be a give and take between our physical mind and spiritual and physical body. Physical mind and physical body. In the same way, we have a spirit mind and spirit body. And our spirit life is realized and can grow and can reach completion through give and take between spirit mind and spirit body. And we will discover that there is some problem in this give and take action between spirit mind and spirit body, and there is some problem between communication between spirit self and physical self. There is some problem. There is no proper relationship now today between the physical self and spirit self, as if they are separated. And this state of separation, we call it the fall of man. This is was caused by the fall of man. And this is split, this division is what we are suffering from up to now. So, as we have said that the incorporeal spirit world is a world of reality, so our also spiritual self is really substantial and incorporeal. Is substantial, though we cannot sense it with our physical senses. We can sense it and we can feel it only through our spiritual senses. Through our spiritual, we can apprehend them. We can apprehend that spiritual reality. And this is spiritual self actually consists of spirit mind and physical and spirit body. We have a spirit body. This spirit body is typical of our spirit, of our physical body. Exactly a copy from our physical body in all details, cell, organ by organ, cell by cell. There is from every organ and every cell in our physical body, there is a counterpart there in the spirit cell. So we are in a dual situation together, physical self and spiritual self, augmented together as one being. But actually we are two beings together, one. When this physical self dies, then the spirit self stay forever. It contains everything in our physical body. It is a typical asl, exactly as our physical self there in the spirit, can go to the spirit realm. So originally the spirit self should be the subject position of the physical self. The spirit self should be in the subject position of the physical self. But actually, because of the fall of man, situation became like this. The physical self became in the subject position and dominated the spirit self. So the spirit self became like a dwarf, small, paralyzed, has no power. This is our spirit, very weak, almost dying. So we need to really give it life and bring it again so that it can take out its proper position. So the spirit originates the spirit self in the subject position, because the spirit self can communicate with God. And now the fallen man is dominated by his physical self. This is the physical self, and this is the spirit self. Therefore, we can say that the physical self, our physical life, physical thinking, physical emotion, physical feelings, created an isolator, became like isolator between us and God. We cannot go. We have to penetrate. We have to move the spirit self-aware, and then we can communicate with God directly. This is the proper position, original position of Adam and Eve before the fall. Therefore, if we fulfill the position of the perfected man, if we gain our original position, if we gain that, if we had gained that position, we could have really ruled over the whole incorporeal world, including the angels. We could really dominate the physical world in the proper way. But unfortunately, we lost that position because of the fall of man. The spirit self receive life. This is very important. We receive life from God, life, lineage, and receive love and truth, and receive grace from God through our spirit. And then when we receive these elements, these life elements, positive elements from spirit world, from God, we can give them to our physical body as the spirit elements. We can give them to our physical body. And this is very important. And this is the source of our life. This is the source of our spiritual life. Became like a moving machine, give and take between physical body and spirit body. So this circle, this cycle of living need to be reestablished because it was disturbed by the fall of man. So we need to reestablish this give and take between physical and spirit body. And religion came to do this. Religion came to rebuild and reestablish this relation, give and take action between our spirit and our body, and between our spirit and God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we will have give and take action between our spirit body, our spirit self, and God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we can have a good relation between our physical self and our spiritual self. Then in this situation, that can be perfect. This is the situation of the perfect man, ideal man, and the original human being, original Adam. Of course, everybody he wants to live for eternity. This is our nature. From where did we get this nature? It came from our spiritual self, because our spirit self is eternal. And generally, people now, when they die, they think that they, khalas, finished, they are vanished. But actually, this is not true. When our physical body dies, our spirit self goes to the spirit world. Therefore, this feeling of desire of living for eternity is coming to us from our spiritual being, because our spirits are eternal. Another important point we have to really remember, the spirit self grows only in the physical self. The spirit self grows only in the physical self. And all the work of repentance and paying penance and paying indemnity can only be done in our physical life. If we die and go to the spirit world, then we can do nothing there in the spirit world. Therefore, our spirit receive positive elements from the spirit world, from Allah. This is source of life, and our physical body through actions and good things can give vital elements to our spirit. And through this give and take, our spirit, when we die, our spirit can go to the spirit world in a good position. And this year, the spirit, the physical body, like the soil, like the earth. And our spirit, when we are born, our spirit like a seed, which was put inside the soil of our physical body, and then it grows in our physical body to become a big tree and perfect human being. It's like that. So for some people, they can grow, spirit grows, and some people, their spirit somehow can see later. there's different level of spiritual growing, spiritual growth, different for this situation. So the spirit can grow only in the physical body. And when we die, spirit cannot grow, spirit cannot multiply, spirit cannot develop, spirit cannot change itself to become good. The spirit cannot restore its position. This is why we have to, before we die, we have to change our life. This is not a religious like a religious sermon. You have to be good. No, this is really, it is a really, this is how to say, this is very important for our existence. It's very scientific, very logical. Besides, it is a religious uh, and it is spiritual. Uh, it has spiritual importance also. Anyhow, there is a relation, as I said, between spirit self and the physical self. And this relation actually similar to the relation between the tree and the fruit, because the spirit, when the fruit mature, it can really ripen, it can really be taken and eaten, and it can make another tree when they put it down again in the ground and can make another tree. And therefore, the spirit also, when it grows, become mature, it can be taken to the spirit world, beautiful and mature and completed. Therefore, through faith, we can mature our spirit, because we build, through faith, we build a relation between spirit and the physical world. Anyhow, we can say that faith is very important. It is internal action. Faith is very important. Religion really came to build this faith, because this faith channel between us and God and the spirit, this channel was severed between our spirit self and with God. This relation was severed, and so we need to rebuild it. This is why through our religious activities we build this relationship again with with God, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hmm. So yeah, because of Adam and Eve, we lost this relationship between us and God, because we are born out of a long series going back to Adam and Eve. So from that early parents, we lost that relationship, and now we need to rebuild this relationship through believing in God, through faith, and through do goodness, through worshiping God and do good things, good deeds. We can rebuild this relationship between our spirit self and our Creator Allah. This is like that. We receive here from in our physical life. We have oxygen, and here we have uh, uh, light from the sun, and also we have food. And this is as the needs of our physical self. As the same token, our spiritual self also they receive life from God, life and light, and they have good society. They can receive a kind of good air and good environment, and through do goodness of our physical body, they do good through paying indemnity, prayers, through giving to others, through living a altruistic life, selfless life, and helping others. Then we can give our physical body like vitality elements. So we receive vitality elements from our physical body, and we give the spiritual elements to our physical bodies. And when this relationship is built in properly, then we can become the right people, the people of goodness, and we can realize the Khalifa position. This is the real position of the Khalifa, the real position of Adam. And then we can become good parent and original parent. This is what we have to realize. Uh, as I have mentioned, man is the only being who has body and spirit. No other being has a spirit. And in the Quran, of course, there are very interesting verses about Lucifer. Lucifer said to God, "We created me from fire and created them from mud." So became a kind of arrogant, has an arrogant feeling, thinking that fire is better than mud, better than dust. But of course, he doesn't know that dust is the very quality by which man was preferred over the angel, by which man was put over the angelic world, because of this dust, because of the mud, because of our physical body, we can reform ourselves, we can develop ourselves, we can correct ourselves, while the angels, they cannot do that because they don't have physical body, they don't have relation with the mud and dust. So man is a microcosm, consists of a physical and spiritual dimension. Anyhow, the universe lost its position, lost its master. So the creation is suffering, as is mentioned in the New Testament. Creation is suffering because creation lost its master. And now we, fallen people, we are using the universe without enough condition. We are not in the position to use this universe for ourselves. But anyhow, we are using it. And the universe is suffering for our bad usage of nature, our bad behavior, and we don't care of nature. We don't love nature in the proper way. So the whole universe now is waiting for the true man and the true people, because still we fallen, we are not true. The universe is waiting for the true man and the true people. And actually, all the prophet came to show us the model of the true man, the standard of the true man. And actually, the whole history, the Old Testament from Noah up to Yahya ibn Zakaria, this historical foundation is just for Jesus Christ to be born. And Jesus was born as a model for mankind. This is according to the Quran, وَجَعَلْنَاهُ مَثَلًا لِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيلِ. So Jesus was made like an example of the perfected man, of the true man. He is a model of the true man. And therefore, we are all supposed to also become good people and to reach our perfection and to follow that model and that example, so that we can recreate ourselves and we can put ourselves in the proper position as original Adam and original Eve, of course. As I have mentioned, mankind now, they are in different level situation, spiritual position. Some people are in the form spirit level, some people are in the growing spirit level, and some people are in a complete heavenly spirit level. People, according to their way of understanding, according to their beliefs, according to their behavior, and according to their deeds, their feeling, their thinking, their ideas, and their beliefs and their understanding about God and man, their spirit can grow, can be in the spirit, form spirit, or growing spirit, or complete spirit. And therefore, we are all waiting for the resurrection. We need to be resurrected and become good people, original people, true people. Anyhow, man cannot be perfected without his physical body. And the kingdom of God cannot be built without building it in the physical world. And the original Garden of Eden, in which Adam was living, actually was on this earth. It is not in the sky somewhere, on this earth. And therefore, the kingdom of God and the Garden of Eden is going to be established and built again also on this earth. And when it is established here on earth, then it can be established in the spirit world. Uh, so if we live a perfected life in our physical world, we can live perfected life in the spirit world. But if we violated if we have violated our heavenly creator laws, our spirit become ugly, and we cannot go to kingdom of heaven. We cannot go to paradise. It is not God who decide, but we decide by ourselves. The Quran says that يومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد. Nobody will put you in chain. You are going to chain yourself by yourself. Nobody is going to judge you. Even God does not judge you. You are going to judge yourself by yourself. All your organs, all your cells, every part of you is going to judge you and is going to tell your story. Nothing can be hidden in the spiritual world. Everything is clear and known to everybody. Therefore, it is very important to solve our problems here on earth. Before we die, before we go to the spirit world, we need to solve our problems, to correct ourselves, our behaviors, our actions, and our feelings, our emotions, and we need to really to practice true love, altruistic life, and to practice straight faith. And we have to love God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have to love mankind. So loving God, loving Allah, and loving mankind, and living a peaceful, useful, altruistic life, this is the core teaching of all the prophets. And this is what we are actually teaching in this series of educational materials. Therefore, the providence of God first will be realized on this earth, not in the spirituality. It should be done here. Hmm. So it's not God who decides that you go to hell or go to paradise. We ourselves decide. So we are responsible for ourselves to do good or to do bad, to take the good direction or to take the bad direction. So those who do bad things on earth, they voluntarily by themselves choose to go to hell. They cannot go to heaven because their clothing, because their face is ugly, because they are so shabby, not nice smell. In the spirit world, their face is very ugly, so they cannot go to the high, nice, beautiful places. So by themselves, they choose and go to the bad places, and actually, eventually, they go to hell. This is the situation in the spirit world. Thank you so much for listening and following, and see you in the second lecture, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Goodbye.